There's just been a shocking revelation from federal authorities regarding a highly private and scandalous video involving none other than Jay-Z and Beyoncé, reportedly taken during a wild party hosted by Diddy. Apparently during a Homeland Security raid on Diddy's properties, some rather intriguing discoveries were made, including compromising footage featuring numerous beloved celebrities caught in scandalous situations. Speculation is rife that Diddy intentionally leaked this footage to authorities as a form of revenge against the Carters, allegedly due to their perceived lack of support during his legal battles. It seems he's on a mission to embarrass them at any cost. Adding fuel to the fire, an unsettling audio clip allegedly featuring Meek Mill and Diddy has surfaced, courtesy of Diddy's former bodyguard.
Beyoncé appears to be in complete crisis mode at this point, and it's no longer just speculation or rumor. Diddy is allegedly in possession of concrete evidence, and individuals close to the situation claim that the material exposes exactly what Beyoncé and Jay-Z were involved in during those highly secretive and scandal-laden freak-off gatherings that disturbingly seem to have included minors. The question then becomes, why is her legal team urgently mobilizing? Why are video clips mysteriously vanishing from the internet? And what exactly did Jaguar Wright say that led to threats being directed at Piers Morgan? Stay tuned and attentive, because by the end of this video, you'll fully comprehend why this unfolding controversy may potentially dismantle the most powerful couple in modern music history. We're talking full-blown crisis management. Beyoncé's attorneys are making calls, working around the clock, and the singer herself is reportedly extremely distressed. And this state of panic hasn't gone unnoticed. Fans and observers alike are picking up on the tension. Her legal team has been operating non-stop since the names Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and FreakOFFS began to appear in public discourse, especially after Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal made their joint allegations, claiming the couple were actively participating in the same deeply controversial gatherings hosted by Diddy. Once these accusations went public, everything shifted rapidly. Legal representatives sprang into action by issuing cease and desist letters immediately. And some insiders assert that Beyoncé's team even attempted to coerce media platforms into removing entire interviews and sanitizing segments from online archives. What's particularly noteworthy is the sheer speed of this legal reaction, not weeks or months later, but instantaneously. One notable case? Piers Morgan. After Jaguar Wright's explosive allegations, where she connected Beyoncé and Jay-Z to a network involving trafficking and coercion, went viral, Morgan was reportedly met with severe legal threats. He then altered the episode, and viewers immediately noticed significant portions were suspiciously missing.
Being Jay-Z, being Diddy's lieutenant, being Diddy's buddy, okay? Now, Jay-Z got accused of raping a 13-year-old, okay? However, there was an extortion motion that he filed. There was an extortion complaint that he filed a few weeks ago, where he went as John Doe. Unfortunately, in that complaint, it says that he is actually being accused of multiple instances of rape with both boy minions and girl minions. It gets deep. Now, there's a battle of words between Jay-Z and Tony Busby. Jay-Z said Tony Busby's corrupt. Tony Busby said, you got a lot to say about me, but you are silent on whatever these issues are. Methinks you protest too much. They are literally trying to put Tony Busby under, even though the one thing that can actually quiet Tony Busby up is...
Why would anyone go to such extraordinary lengths to conceal something, unless there is something serious that needs to be hidden? That's the question circulating across the internet. Social media platforms were quickly saturated with comments like, if this is all fabricated, why are the lawyers getting involved? And Beyoncé's continued silence is, in many ways, louder than any public denial could be. At this point, it's not just the loyal Bayhive watching, it's the general public, fully engaged. But what really sent online discourse into overdrive was the very interview that certain parties attempted to erase from existence, because what Jaguar Wright disclosed next poured gasoline on an already blazing fire.
So, everybody thought that Tina Knowles liked to comment. Tina Knowles actually did like a comment talking about what was going on with Jay-Z, saying he was accused of raping a 13-year-old. She left it up for about 12, maybe 24 hours. Then she came back 24 hours later and said that her account got hacked, and she always stands by her family. We said, okay, Tina, we're going to let you go because all the power the hackers could have, and that's all they did, it doesn't matter. Everybody thought maybe Beyonce was furious. Beyonce wanted to abandon Jay-Z. Beyonce has come out and made a rare public statement. And guess what? She said, that's my man, and I'm sticking behind her. I'm sticking with them. She said they will get through this as a family. How do we know this comes directly from Beyonce? Well, it is directly in page 6 through Beyonce's people. Let's get into this statement. Beyonce said she's sticking by Jay-Z's side and prioritizing family amid his
interview that's causing shockwaves. Jaguar writes bombshell revelations. While Wright is no stranger to controversy, her most recent statements have shaken Hollywood to its core. She didn't limit her accusations to Diddy. She explicitly mentioned Beyonce and Jay-Z, implicating them with equal weight. According to her version of events, the Carters were not just passive attendees of these secretive parties. They were allegedly active participants. She further claimed that minors were flown in, drugged, and filmed for the purpose of blackmail, all under the guise of lavish, high-profile gatherings that are now being referred to as FreakOFFS. She depicted these events in haunting detail, even going so far as to describe Beyoncé as being dumb as a sack of hair, accusing her of serving as a harmless-looking front meant to obscure a much darker reality. Even more unsettling were her allegations that Jay-Z orchestrated repeated smear campaigns and intimidation strategies over the years to silence those who might come forward with accusations. After Jaguar's interview aired, legal teams acted with startling urgency. The footage was quickly edited, flagged, and partially deleted. Even media veterans like Piers Morgan were unable to shield the content. Rather than calming the public, this only deepened their curiosity. When media giants start scrubbing interviews, it doesn't feel like standard PR. It reeks of fear. And if Jaguar Wright's statements are even partially accurate, it might explain why Diddy has remained oddly composed while so many in the industry scramble, because it seems he may be holding on to evidence capable of ending multiple high-profile careers. Interview
Federal investigation, it's only natural that fans are taking a magnifying glass to every little detail of Diddy's friendship with Beyonce and Jay-Z. Turns out Beyonce is facing some pretty eyebrow-raising accusations lately. I'm talking about everything from claims of sabotaging other black female artists to allegations of her dabbling in witchcraft. And guess what? These accusations aren't just popping up out of nowhere, they're coming from people who were once in Beyonce's circles. Let's talk about Kimberly Thompson, Beyonce's former drummer. Back in 2018, she shook things up by dropping a bombshell accusation claiming that Beyonce was knee-deep in what she described as extreme witchcraft. Thompson even filed for a restraining order against Beyonce, claiming that she was using spells and magic to mess with her even after she moved to another city to escape.
Now, we get to the tapes, the footage that could bring down empires. When Homeland Security carried out its raids on Diddy's residences, they didn't just seize standard paperwork. They departed with digital evidence, hard drives, videotapes, computers. According to numerous leaks, these drives are said to contain hours upon hours of damning footage, enough to put a significant number of celebrities, including Jay-Z and Beyonce, in extremely compromising legal positions, and potentially even more names that have yet to surface publicly. Several insiders now claim that portions of this footage depict celebrities in highly inappropriate, possibly criminal, encounters involving minors. One of the most pressing questions came from attorney Joe Brown, who astutely pointed out that not all of Diddy's properties were raided. 2 out of 3 were. Why skip 1? Unless, of course, you already know exactly where the most critical evidence is stored. That's not a coincidence. It points to coordination, possibly even insider collaboration.
Hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything, just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say so?
I mean, probably not, considering she's gonna be indicted for anything she would say. These are criminals. Diddy is a drug dealer, and so is Jay-Z. The proof is there.
And that insider might just be Diddy himself. A growing number of reports suggest that he is now seeking to negotiate deals, not to shield himself from prosecution, but rather to barter with what he knows. With the severity of the charges he faces, Diddy's only remaining leverage may be to expose others. Just the possibility that he is willing to start naming names, and that he has the footage to prove it, should send chills down the spines of everyone allegedly caught on those tapes. If he hands over that kind of evidence, Beyoncé and Jay-Z won't just suffer public embarrassment, they could face serious legal repercussions, possibly even prison. We're talking about a collapse of public image so devastating, recovery would be impossible. And if this all feels suspiciously interconnected, like the pieces fit together too smoothly, it's probably because they do. Jay-Z and Diddy didn't merely attend the same events. They built a music empire side by side, and it may have been decaying from within the entire time.
Alleging that Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and LeBron James witnessed an incident of humiliation at one of Diddy's notorious freak-off parties. The event allegedly took place during a birthday celebration on Star Island in Miami in April 2015. The plaintiff, Joseph Manzaro, claims he was given substances without his consent and brought to the Diddy party as punishment for perceived disloyalty. Upon arriving at Star Island, he encountered LeBron James walking down a hallway clad only in a bath towel. The lawsuit quotes LeBron as saying, quote, "Y'all better do something about that," end quote, when he saw Manzaro's condition. Manzaro was then guided through an underground tunnel into Diddy's mansion, entering a sprawling party area where he spotted Beyoncé and Jay-Z. He alleges that he was paraded around the mansion with a rock strapped to his face, while Diddy instructed guests to mock him. Beyoncé reportedly questioned, quote, "Why is this half-naked white man with a rock mask standing here in front of me?" End quote. A friend of Diddy allegedly replied, "Diddy wants him to see what we do to those who betray us. This is part of his punishment." The lawsuit states that Manzaro was moved through multiple rooms, enduring ongoing humiliation. Importantly, Manzaro is not suing Beyoncé, Jay-Z, or LeBron James. His lawsuit targets Diddy, former adult film star Adria English, who allegedly led him around, and Brendan Paul, accused of supplying substances. While Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and LeBron James are not defendants, their alleged presence has sparked significant media attention. Diddy denies all claims. This just in.
Nation and Bad Boy, the cornerstone of a decades-long alliance that helped shape modern pop culture. For years, Jay-Z and Diddy have been portrayed as titans of the industry, cultural icons whose influence extended well beyond music. But now, the very power they once wielded so confidently is threatening to become their downfall. Former insiders have begun to speak out, asserting that Roc Nation and Bad Boy were not merely entertainment labels. They allegedly served as facades for something far darker. According to these accounts, both moguls co-hosted elite events that had little to do with music networking or celebration. Instead, they were calculated operations designed to attract, intoxicate, and blackmail attendees, including young victims. Guests believed they were stepping into exclusive celebrity circles, but in reality, they were being surveilled, recorded, and, in several cases, reportedly abused. Attorney Tony Busby, who is currently leading more than 24 active lawsuits, has stated that multiple A-list celebrities will be named in the upcoming legal filings. These aren't vague rumors anymore. They're official claims in the eyes of the law. Jay-Z and Diddy's partnership was not incidental. It was deliberate. They constructed the pipeline. They curated the culture. And they used their combined clout to ensure no one dared challenge them.
He was sexually assaulted, raped, and humiliated at a freak-off party in Miami, and that other big stars saw him in rough shape. TMZ is all over this story. Branson Quirk joining us live. Now, Branson, let me get this right. This new Diddy accuser is basically claiming he was sexually assaulted at the freak-off party, and he claims that other celebrities were there as well.
Yes, exactly. In this lawsuit, and it's important to note that these names are not being sued, but they are named as witnesses inside this lawsuit, those names being Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Gloria Estefan, as well as LeBron James. Just to paint you a little bit of a picture of this horrific lawsuit, a man by the name of Joseph Manzano, he claims that he had, in the beginning of this lawsuit, he claims that he woke up in a mansion, this is way back in April of 2015, in a mansion owned by Gloria Gloria and Emilio Estefan. And when he woke up, not knowing how he got there, he was then led through a tunnel to Diddy's house. And we can confirm that Diddy, his home is nearby to Gloria and Emilio Estefan's home. And once he was through this tunnel, he eventually came across and claimed that LeBron James was walking by in a towel of sorts, saw him in rough shape, and said, someone's got to do something about it.
11. That's precisely why witnessing Beyoncé entangled in this intricate web feels so unsettling. Because if she were involved in this network, even in a passive or peripheral manner, it would completely alter the entire perception we previously held. What's most alarming is the fact that the individuals claiming harm are actual people, real victims. And they are starting to speak up, some of them underage, citing coercion, emotional manipulation, and corroborated medical documentation. These individuals are not merely speculating online anymore. What's happening now is a torrent of survivors presenting evidence. More than 1,000 alleged victims have now come forward, offering medical documentation, police filings, and even captured images and stills from videos. The testimonies they're sharing are devastating. One 15-year-old girl claims she was flown out believing she was attending a legitimate audition for a talent opportunity, only to find herself confined in a locked room during a mansion gathering said to be hosted by Jay-Z alongside Diddy. She alleges she was drugged, violated, recorded, and never received any follow-up regarding the supposed audition. Another story comes from a teenage male who recounts being promised stardom by Diddy, only to be coerced into a private interaction that ended in abuse. He insists Jay-Z was aware of the incident, and even more disturbingly, says his phone was confiscated and he was issued a clear warning to never speak of the event again.
Oh, Rogan. Hey, I'm on my way back to the Philippines, man. I'm gonna do another month there. Y'all pray for me and my flight and everything. I'm nervous, man. They saying these planes dropping out the sky. I ain't even gonna call it like that. He got my back, but I'm gonna say my prayers. Okay, Lord, I'm trying to help people. Can you help me to help people? Anyway, check this out, man. We're going to promote the Music Recording Network stream, our new stream channel. It ain't new, but we are hoping that people will actually go over there and subscribe to the Music Recording Network stream. Support Uncle Mike, help a brother out. Appreciate it. You can type in on the search engine the Music Recording Network stream. Scroll down a little bit, you see the world with the yellow written stream. That's our other channel. There should be links below if you want to just do a link or something. Do the voice talk.
Medical professionals have lent support to a number of these accounts, offering clinical evidence of physical trauma. In one instance, a hospital emergency room visit aligns exactly with a timeline and a location associated with one of Diddy's properties. The depth and specificity of these details do more than generate headlines. They act as kindling for escalating federal inquiries. Many people are now asking, why are so many individuals stepping forward at this exact moment? The response is straightforward. The protective structure that once shielded powerful figures is disintegrating. Legal representatives are now scrambling. Mainstream news outlets are rapidly losing command of the story, and celebrities who previously appeared immune to consequence now seem visibly shaken. However, silence is no longer a viable tactic, not with this many voices emerging. And if those major figures don't issue statements soon, the judicial system will likely issue one on their behalf.
No.
Oh, man, bruh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, man.
Sean Diddy Combs' alleged list of accomplices to be revealed soon. The names will shock you, attorney says. Whoa.
I think he's gonna sing, hey. If I got invited to the white party, I'd have gone.
Especially if you didn't know.
Of course, no one knew. No one
Right.
knew.
If
And
you
then
don't know, you're
find
just
out.
a celebrity and you know, oh.
Often discern who's genuinely fleeing the metaphorical fire by noting who suddenly becomes quiet. Silence can be its own kind of admission. At this very moment, some of the most high-profile names in the entertainment industry are remaining unusually silent. Neither Beyoncé nor Jay-Z has addressed anything publicly since Diddy's reputation began collapsing. But they're not the only ones falling silent. Jennifer Lopez, Ashton Kutcher, and even Ellen, who once openly boasted about her exclusive party invites, are all conspicuously absent from public view. This isn't just some calculated public relations tactic, it reeks of panic. Let's not forget, law enforcement has already executed searches on Diddy's residences.
Flooded with P. Diddy news.
It's there. My news feed is dominated by it. Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
Now, Diddy's in a tricky situation. I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But you think it's over as him as far as
jail?
like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so. I don't think he gets locked up.
I think he skates.
I think he skates. Or he goes...
Really?
Insiders suggest Beyoncé has started withdrawing from media obligations, avoiding press interviews, and stepping away from promotional events such as those surrounding the Grammys. Jay-Z, typically outspoken online, has gone entirely quiet. No posts, no remarks. And keep in mind, this wouldn't be the first time A-list celebrities tried to duck out of sight when controversy strikes. But the silence now? It's deafening. Former acquaintances of Diddy are purging their social media, deleting shared pictures, erasing captions, unfollowing key individuals. You know what that implies. When digital history starts disappearing en masse, it's rarely accidental. It's classic damage control. One source speculated that these individuals aren't simply dodging journalists. They're evading subpoenas. And with the FBI intensifying its grip on this case, that explanation no longer sounds implausible. Yet the silence itself isn't the most troubling part. It's the recurring pattern. These celebrities aren't merely trying to avoid embarrassing headlines. They're possibly terrified of being named directly. Because the more layers that get peeled away, the more apparent it becomes that some of these familiar figures may not have been passive bystanders at the infamous FreakOFF gatherings. They may have been active participants.
You want to get with your significant other, and you just want to just get into that mood, that groove. It starts off, and you can like dance together on some R&B music, and it's very extremely soulful, unapologetically sexy.
Yeah. Sexy.
Okay, and then it just jumps right into just straight bam, bam, bam.
Okay, yeah.
It's crazy.
Are you saying you can keep rhythm to this?
You have to keep rhythm. And you know what we call it? This album is for the strokers.
Which brings us to something far more ominous. Evidence not just confined to the courtroom, but potentially dispersed across the dark underbelly of the internet. We're talking about dark web exchanges and the chilling narrative surrounding Kim Porter's mysterious writings. The recordings and footage aren't locked safely in evidence rooms anymore. According to those with ties to the investigation, portions of the seized footage from Diddy, content reportedly documenting abuse of minors, drug usage, celebrity involvement, and blackmail schemes, have leaked, and not to the mainstream media, but into hidden online spaces. Private collectors, elite hackers, and certain law enforcement insiders allege that at least 8 of these videos are currently circulating within concealed corners of the internet. A recurring name in these leaks is Kim Porter. She wasn't merely Diddy's former partner. She was also the mother of his children and reportedly one of the few people with full knowledge of his inner workings. Rumors persist that she was writing a memoir, a revealing exposé that would have unveiled hidden practices, exposed names, and unveiled the true nature of the so-called FreakOFF network. Then, tragically and without warning, she passed away. Her cause of death never clearly determined.
This seems to be like the last year and a half, there's been all this talk about these Hollywood parties.
Let's talk about it.
Amber, what's really going on?
I don't know.
You ain't never been invited to these Hollywood parties?
I've been to probably everyone. I've been to every Puff party. I've been to every white party since 2009. I've been to every party, and
you go in the right room, not the wrong room.
I don't think there's rooms, Chad. I'm gonna be honest. Now look, I'm gonna be very, very transparent on this show. If these freak-offs are happening, it's on a completely different day than the actual Puff parties.
Day, okay.
It's not that day because every time I was there, Puff was there the whole time. You know, he got the Ciroc, he's on the DJ booth. He's the host of the party. Mm-hmm. I will say that. Now, I've had this conversation with Ray J. Ray J's one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. I said, Ray, did they ever invite you to a freak-off? Because they never invited me. Mm-hmm. And I done been at these parties. I just feel like, why I didn't get the invite?
Because they know you don't get down like that.
Maybe they know I don't get down like that. Okay, cool. But you would think maybe an assistant would come up and be like, hey, you like girls? Or like, you know, you into... Never. No one ever asked me that. They never asked Ray J either. And me and Ray J was talking about it. We were like, I done been to the party, the after party, the after party. I never seen none of that stuff. Wow. But that's not to say that it does not happen or invalidate people that, but I do think it's a different day that I'm just not invited.
Wright said it from the outset. Kim Porter knew too much. And now, as some of these leaked tapes appear too, align with what Kim had previously discussed before her passing, people are beginning to question whether her death was truly natural or if it was something much more sinister. Her former partner, Al B., sure has also hinted that foul play may have been involved. He's spoken publicly about threats to his own safety and believes Kim's passing was anything but accidental. This has moved beyond the realm of conspiracy. It's now a serious, lingering question that refuses to be buried. And as Diddy's inner circle continues to fracture, those brave enough to raise their voices are becoming targets. Because if you assumed leaking footage was the riskiest move, speaking publicly has turned out to be just as deadly.
Cheeks, but he's warned against it by a member of his team, saying Diddy's associates would prefer it if she, referring to Ashley, looked normal. She also says that they said to her they could ship her off and sell her to anyone in the world and she'd never be seen again by her parents or loved ones. Now, Ashley did make a police report in 2018 at the time of the alleged incident, and the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department confirmed her report was thoroughly investigated and it was determined the claims were unfounded. Diddy's team said Mr. Combs was nowhere near Orinda, California on the day that she claimed she was assaulted. There's no evidence that Mr. Combs was ever even in the same room as the alleged victim. She's completely unbelievable and no sane person who views the evidence will credit her story.
What celebrity was Diddy obsessed with coming to his parties but never actually showed up? Actually, the answer is 2 celebrities. And in addition to being celebrities, they're actually royals. Diddy's former publicist who worked for him between 2002 and 2004. He recently spoke to BBC News saying that Diddy was, quote, obsessed with Harry and William. During the time he worked for Diddy, he claims that he invited Prince William and Prince Harry to his parties over 10 times. He apparently even offered to cover their travel expenses, their hotel, and security, but Harry and William never accepted the invite. Diddy's former publicist claims that this obsession makes sense because Diddy used to think of himself as a king, so of course he would want Harry and William and his entourage. But like I said, clearly they never wanted to be a part of it. Alright, now I want to hear your thoughts on Diddy allegedly being obsessed with Prince Harry and William attending one of his parties. Let it out in the comments, and don't forget, for more trending news, follow us at What's Trending.
5. The personal toll of telling the truth in the entertainment world is steep, and both Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal are testament to that. Since they began exposing Diddy's empire and calling out Beyoncé and Jay-Z by name, they've reported being shadowed, threatened, and harassed. Jaguar describes being tailed by unmarked black SUVs, being denied access to events by individuals she believes are loyal to Jay-Z, once even needing law enforcement intervention. That's not simply online harassment, that's a clear attempt at intimidation. Even more disturbing, she alleges her communication devices have been tampered with, that her phone calls are monitored, emails disappear, and electricity cuts off inexplicably when she speaks out. Every time I talk, something bizarre happens. She said, they want me silenced. Gene Deal, too, has said he's received direct warnings to back off. He stated plainly, this is when people start dying. And if that sounds exaggerated, ask the people who were close to Kim Porter, or those who understand what really happened to Cassie before she spoke up. But these efforts to scare people into silence aren't succeeding. In fact, they seem to be having the opposite effect. Jaguar keeps posting, Gene keeps revealing information, and with every passing day, more alleged victims find the courage to come forward. This has gone far beyond scandal or rumor. It's about survival now. It's about dismantling a system that has devastated lives and kept powerful individuals immune from justice for generations. The only question left is, who will break? First,
Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer had a bizarre explanation for why the rapper had so much baby oil. While speaking to the press, his lawyer Mark Agnifilio responded to claims that 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant were confiscated from Combs' homes in Miami and LA. Agnifilio told the New York Post, I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there is a Costco right down the street. I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know.
The entire structure, once held up by secrecy, intimidation, and denial, is now beginning to collapse. The legal teams are preparing to take public action, no longer whispering accusations, but filing formal complaints, not anonymous tips, actual names. Beyoncé and Jay-Z could be formally named in open court, and when that happens, it won't matter how beloved they are or how many awards they've earned. Diddy's strategy seems transparent. He's ready to bring the whole network down with him. Facing federal charges involving trafficking, coercion, and abuse, he's reportedly already offering names in exchange for leniency. Prosecutors are prepared. They've compiled hours of recorded victim testimony, forensic records, and digital evidence. All that remains is a judge ready to listen. And with public pressure mounting daily, that moment is drawing near. The biggest question? Beyoncé. Will she remain aligned with Jay-Z, or will she attempt to rewrite the story and detach? Some insiders claim she's already preparing for that outcome. Legal advisors creating distance between her image and his, withdrawing from collaborative efforts and concentrating entirely on independent projects. Because once litigation begins, survival becomes an individual endeavor. This is no longer merely a scandal, it's the collapse of a cultural and social fortress. And once the dust settles, only then will the truth emerge. Who stood on the right side of history and who helped conceal the wrongdoings? So, now that you've seen what's unraveling behind the curtains, the lawsuits, the fear, and the digital leaks haunting the Carter Empire, what do you think? Will Beyoncé finally break the silence or continue hiding behind it? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. There's more coming soon.